Mr. Sakya, thank you very much for joining us today.
नमस्ते, मलाई यहाँ बोलाएर यसरी इन्टरभ्यू लिएकोमा तपाईहरुलाई धन्यवाद. Thank you very much for having me for this interview.
You have been working as a leading person of the anti-illiteracy education activity for a long time. When did you start this activity, and what made you involved in this activity?
Well, I got involved in this activity while I was working in the Ministry of Education responsible for primary education. Then I found that lots of children cannot come to the primary school. Even if they come, they drop out. At that time, UNESCO had started a world literacy experimental program in Iran. So I went to study that program in Iran. From that time, I took interest in this program. And then when I was working for primary education in Nepal, we were trying to implement a regional primary education program called Karachi Plan. That plan wanted to provide 7 years of primary education to all the school-going age children. But we could not provide education even half of them. So we tried to develop develop another alternative system called non-formal education or literacy program for them. So here, from then on, I was quite convinced and committed to work for literacy program. And then in 1977, I joined UNESCO in UNESCO Regional Office, Bangkok. Then I tried to convince that we must have a program which combines primary education, literacy program, and also continuing education program. So in 1985, a Ministers of Education's Conference of Asia and the Pacific adopted my recommendation or the recommendation to launch Asia Pacific Program of Education for All, APEAL program. So from that time on, I was working for the promotion of literacy in Asia and the Pacific.
You have been doing the anti-illiteracy education activity for a long time. How is the result so far, and what kinds of problems have you faced? How did you solve those? Please explain to us in a concrete way.
Well, yes, I am working for this anti-illiteracy program for a long time. So through UNESCO and working with the very enlightened educators and leaders in the countries, we could convince the leaders and educators in East Asia, for example, China, Republic of Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. So they sort of developed non-formal or literacy program side by side with formal primary education. So that way they could provide education for 80% of their population by now. But the countries in South Asia, namely Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Bhutan, they are very, very conservative because of this British influence, and they never believed that literacy program is important. So they insisted only on primary education. As a result of that, now they have more than 50% still illiterate populations. So that has a very big impact on their population growth rate, environmental degradations, and also the women are very oppressed and suppressed. In those countries, the donors also, who mostly came from industrialized countries, do not know non-formal and literacy program. They also advise those South Asian countries that primary education is the only way. So that way also it sort of expanded the problem of illiteracy. So my firm belief is that if international community could sort of understand the problem of illiteracy and can develop the expertise in this field of non-formal education and literacy, then we can convince the governments and the experts in the countries and provide training to them to launch a qualitatively very good non-formal education for those who do not come to the private schools.
We find a high illiteracy ratio in Asian countries. Why is that?
Yeah, if you see the total figure, it is very high. For example, the total number of illiterates in Asia is now 626 million. But where are they? Actually, in East Asia and South Asia, they are only 210 million. But South Asia, there are 416 millions. For example, in China, there are only 18.5% illiteracy, whereas in India, there are 48% illiterates. In Bangladesh, there are 61.9, almost 62% illiterates. In Nepal, there are 73% illiterates. In Pakistan, almost 62% illiterates. So these are the countries where most of the illiterates are. So not in all countries in Asia and the Pacific.
One of the biggest issues for the anti-illiteracy education activity is the low school enrollment ratio of education at the first level. How can we solve this? And what we can do for those adults who didn't have opportunity to go to school?
As I told you, the most of the illiterates are concentrated in South Asian countries. The South Asian countries help to sort of convince the leaders that it is very important program, and also provide training to the experts to prepare plans and programs from central level to the village level, and also the non-formal education program better, at least comparable to the primary school in qualitative way, improving curriculum, textbook, training of teachers, and effective testing methods. The same way, we have to sort of improve the help from outside countries. The international organizations like UNESCO, UNDP, UNICEF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, they also lack expertise in literacy and non-formal education. So if they can improve, they can help those countries.
What kinds of role that literate ability plays socially and economically in the people's life?
Well, actually, if the people are literate, number one, it gives confidence to the poor people that they can help themselves. They become not so fatalistic. I mean, the God has made us poor, so we have to be poor. That comes from ignorance because they are illiterate. Then the literacy, once they become literate, they can get organized. If they become organized, they become more powerful. And they also can then see that having few children with good health and good education is better than many children who has no education and who die quite early. And the women will understand the nutrition, how to prepare a nutritious food for their children and the family. The whole family's health will be improved. They will understand how to clean the water. They will understand how to prevent the disease, communicable disease. And then they will understand the value of trees and the forest. So they will conserve this community forest. They will prepare conservation forest. And the non-formal program, literacy program, is easily linked with the productive skills in agriculture, animal raising, horticulture, vegetable farming, fish raising, and small industry. If we can provide literacy education, non-formal education linked with such productive skills, they can solve the problem of poverty by themselves. And it also helps to improve the status of women in the society. And also the minorities, once they are literate, they can get organized and they can get more empowered.
What are the things that stand out most in your mind or that have impressed you the most through your activities?
Well, during my long work, I have, for the promotion of literacy and functional education, both through formal and non-formal education, I have met many good people who have good heart. They understand what I am saying and they improve. We can work together. But there are some people who pretend that they do not understand. There is a saying that you can wake up a sleeping person, but you can never wake up a person who always pretend that they are sleeping.
Finally, what kinds of activity would you like to do for Asian people towards the 21st century?
Well, 21st century, as you all know, that there will be a very fast change. For example, technological change will be so fast that information will be very fast. You can make available information to many people in a very short time. And biotechnology will change the nature of agriculture and other production. And globalization will bring more competition. And those countries which cannot adapt the new technologies will become more poorer and poorer. So therefore, education become much more important in 21st century, so that these poor people in developing countries can understand that their philosophy and religion is not the barrier. They are used by the exploiters to make it a barrier, and they can take the advantage of the new technologies and new sort of research in biotechnology. So that is why our education has to be both formal. Education also has to be changed so that it makes sort of take into account this new change. And then side by side, the non-formal education has to be improved so that they can take the advantage of new change and development of 21st century. So I think this way only, if you can make the people literate and conscious, then the political stability will come. Then the war will be sort of lessons. So then this will once people get the sort of education, it will become sort of possible for them to come out from the poverty trap.
Mr. Sakya, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving me this chance to speak few words to the Japanese people as well as to other people. I hope I could make myself understand. Thank you very much. धन्यवाद. मलाई यो चान्स दिनुभएकोमा साथ धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद.
That was Mr. Tangkudaman Sakya from Nepal.